Yo, what's up GameLeap? It's Coach Cheeks back at it, and in this video we are going to be covering the best 15 champions for the top lane in Season 11. As we all know, with each new patch comes a bit of a change in the ranks, so to stay updated with what's hot, definitely stick around until the end of the video. We've got mages, we've got range, we've got bruisers, we've got tanks, but there's one thing we haven't got, and that's pro guides advertising on our videos. Can we get some Fs in the comments, because I actually missed them already. Now we're a day or two into the ranked season, guys, and how's it going so far? Are your placements going well? What have your teammates been like? Give us the rundown in the comments. Now, as well as our YouTube channel, we have the best players and coaches, you're listening to one right now, making the most informative content on our website as well, GameLeap.com. So if you want to take your learning 10 steps further and get the most out of League, then join thousands of others and get signed up today. Links as always in the description and comments section. Alright, let's get into it, and my mic should be back to normal by the way. Kicking off the countdown, guys, we have Shen, and from being the best top laner in the game a few patches ago, the multiple nerfs to Sunfire Aegis have pushed this Ionian warrior down the pecking order. But the good news is that you are still a very good champion. Let's keep in mind, guys, that there have been no direct nerfs to Shen, just to his mythic, so all the power you had in your kit is all still there. Now when you're playing Shen, one thing you have to start doing is using your abilities together. So when you dash in and taunt someone, don't let this be it. Combine this with your Q. So when your Spirit Blade passes through that enemy champion, your auto attacks are enhanced with damage, range, and attack speed, and at the end of the trade you can press W, and every Tryndamere and Jax player will start crying because you block their basic attacks. But coach, what about against ranged champions who I can't taunt? These lanes are rough for sure, but to survive them, it's vital that you time your passive with your Q to CS because of the shield. So when you're about to last hit a minion, tap Q so you proc your key barrier, and you won't take as much harass. You can still take Ignite, and remember, you still have your ultimate. The number of times I've started a fight and died because I forgot the other team had a Shen is beyond me. Okay, coming in at number 14 GameLeapers, we have Sett, who is one of the best bruisers on the Rift at the moment, but like Shen, Sett has fallen a little bit since last patch. Because tanks are becoming less popular, you know, all the cucks to Sunfire, this is also bad for Sett even though you don't build it. The thing is, guys, that 3 of Sett's abilities can rip through beefy health bars because they deal damage based on the target's maximum health. This is why when you pick up a tankier champion, boom, the damage to anyone near the impact area is insane. Now I'm not saying this is completely gone because bruisers and other top laners build health as well, but it will be less than what a tank stacks. Now hopefully you guys are building Stridebreaker as your mythic, and this got changed as you can see on screen now. So you're losing a bit of damage and getting cooldown for it. Now this isn't really great for Sett because when you do fight someone, it's to fight them until the death. You have Conqueror, you might have Bork at that point as well. The cooldowns aren't that important. Attack damage is. But all in all, guys, these indirect nerfs to Sett, if you can call them that, are very minor, so keep playing him. Coming in at number 13, we have Pantheon, and even after the 11-1 nerfs, his 6-pack is still way too strong. Those of you who have laned against Panth mid or top know exactly what I'm talking about. You see, these nerfs to your health regen and W, like, does anyone actually care? Like, your damage is all still there. Once you build plated steel caps, the new ninja tabis, you have all the tankiness you ever need. You can bully anyone in the top lane. Now, one piece of information you have to understand, guys, is that your Comet Spear now costs less mana, and if you release it as soon as you cast it, so if you just tap Q, 60% of its cooldown is refunded. Now, why do you think this is useful early game? Because you can spam it, that's it. And in a solo lane, this hurts like heck. What Riot also added to your kit back in 10.25, which is still here, is the 10% armor penetration you get for each point in your ultimate, which to be honest is really scuffed as in broken. Squishy champions are even more scared of you as a result, and even against tankier blokes you can get through that beef with ease. Moving on to number 12 in the countdown, guys, and we have Irelia, and honestly, when mastered, Irelia is an amazing champion. Now one tip I can give you right off the bat that will help you win lane and game for sure is to play around your passive. Guys, if you're committing to a fight, which is what you want to be doing on Irelia because of Conqueror, this is the condition, stacks. If you don't have cooldowns to stack your passive or minions you can last hit with your Q to do the same, don't type jungle diff in chat when you crash and burn. As a little trick, what you can do is soften up the range minions in a wave with auto attacks. You can do the same with your W, it's just a tad riskier because you ideally want this for the 1v1. And this tactic is effective because you can then blade surge to the weak CS to gap close your opponent while stacking Ionian further. The damage you do as a result is ridiculous. Now yes, against a Shen with steel caps or a tankier champion it can get pretty tough, but as I said with Sett, these beefy boys are being seen less, which is great news because your opposite number will be more killable and more snowballable. I know that's not a word, but you get my drift. Up next guys, we have Ergot, and besides the fact Ergot is a strong champion at the moment, lots of players find him hard to play against, and a few of you have asked me in the comments why Ergot isn't mentioned. Well, here he is. He's tanky, he has CC, he has sustain, he has damage. Like, what more could you want from a top laner? Now, I've got a cheeky tip for you as well that is going to help you win lane every single time, so listen up. Your Q, if you're able to land it, deals damage and slows. Now, this slow is important, and those of you who have played Ergot or played against him will know why. This makes it easier to land your E, which is when you charge in and flip the enemy champion while gaining a shield. Now, I've been on the receiving end of this, and let me tell you, there is legit no counterplay. If Ergot lands his Q, you are dead meat. It's also important to understand, guys, that your W on the GOT can be interrupted by hard CC, and most top laners have this, whether it's a Renekton stun or a Shen taunt, and they will use this ASAP Rocky after you flip them. So hold on to your W and wait for that CC. Otherwise, you will miss out on key damage not just from your purge, but from your passive too. Starting off the top 10, guys, it's Quinn, and you are one of the best lane bullies in the game. Now, what makes your laning phase special, especially against bruisers with engaged like Jax, Camille, Riven, you know, these popular top laners, you can just flip them off. Not with your middle finger, I'm talking about your Volt. Now, to really hard carry, what you want to be doing is rushing Sanguine Blade, and then you have a choice of mythics, which is great. You can go Gale Force if you need some extra mobility, you can go Prowler's Core if you really want to snowball, or you can go Kraken Slayer to bring down tankier champions. Now, it's important to understand, guys, that not all the time you're going to be harassing someone in lane. There are situations you're going to be in trouble, and when you are caught out, I've got a tip for you. Use your blind to conceal your movement. Act as if you're pathing in one direction, and we ain't talking the band, and after blinding the enemy, move in the opposite direction. They will come out of that blind and think you're Houdini. Streaming his way into number 9, it's Teemo, guys, and if you want an AP lane bully to play this patch, how can you look past the mushrooming Yordle? Now, if you see Darius locked in on the other team, or Camille, or any bruiser or melee champion for that matter, you can destroy them like no other. You scale into an absolute weapon this season as well because of Liandry's Anguish and Demonic Embrace, and these two items work so well with your tick damage and your E and R. Like, don't we all live for those moments when an enemy ADC steps on one of your streams and starts question marking because they lose half their health? I've seen this numerous times with this setup, and guys, it is funny as heck, but also busted. You can tilt the enemy team that way, but perhaps the best way to go about achieving this is to time your blinding dart as your opponent tries to go for a cannon minion, and if you successfully force them to miss that crucial gold, just start laughing, throw a few emotes in there as well, and watch them unravel. If you don't have a ranged champion in your pool, guys, and want to have fun while crushing the competition, Teemo it is. Now, coming in next, we have Kled, and along with Scar, you are a menace and a half and one of the best carry top hands down. Now, I was coaching a Kled player yesterday, and one thing he did really well was timing his all-in with his violent tendencies. Guys, when you have your W, you are impossible to 1v1 with Conqueror because you stack it so quickly. Just make sure to get that 4th auto attack in because it deals more damage. Now, one tip you can apply straight away in your games is this. Skill your W when you want to go in during the first few levels. You see, as you skill your W, you start using the 4 attacks automatically with the bonus attack speed, and if you're using these on minions, most of the time they're going to be wasted. Using them on your opponent is way better. Not to mention that you will stack your courage faster as well. So as soon as you want to engage, skill your W and fire away to that victory. We're getting closer to that top spot, guys, and at number 7 we have Fiora, easily one of the best solo carry tops going around. The healing in the game at the moment is insane, as we all know, and Fiora is one of those champions that benefits from it. You heal off your vitals on ultimate, and also through Conqueror and your core items, the Ravenous Hydra and Steris Gauge. If you really wanted to upset the enemy team, you could go Gore Drinker to make it almost impossible to take you down, and Trinity Force actually became worse this patch, even though Riot said it was just a change, so go for your life and get the Drinker, it certainly makes more sense. Now, there's a build that's used in high elo at the moment, guys, and I mentioned this in our previous top lane countdown video, and it involves building Mana Mune. This solves any mana issues you might have. The extra damage is also easy to proc, and the ability haste is low-key nice. Now, the reason why mana can sometimes be an issue is because the Sheen in Trinity Force no longer gives mana or cooldown reduction, so this is certainly one way around that. Up next, guys, we have Nasus, one of the best counters to all the bruises you're running into at the moment. So Susan's Q cooldown got reduced by half a second at each level in 1025, and I cannot actually believe this had the positive impact it's had. Like, Nasus is now a contested pick because he's borderline broken. Overall, you guys playing Nasus win almost 53% of your games, which is one of the highest in League right now. And something else you should know is that when you give that ultimate a pop, this Q cooldown is even more relevant because its cooldown is halved. So imagine this late game. Your Q is on a 1.75 second cooldown, and we're not even taking ability haste into consideration. Early game, you can still cop it for sure, but guys, even at level 9 with 5 points in your Q, you can start bodying your opponent, so get to it. The top 5 guys, are you ready to rumble? You probably thought this was leading into me actually saying Rumble is our 5th pick, but unfortunately he's not, because that belongs to Aatrox. Now this Darkin is arguably the best healer right now, and there's a reason Riot are nerfing this next patch, but one way you can make your healing even more insane is by going Gore Drinker, of course. You practically have 3 health bars because of it. Now in terms of mechanics, you have to know a couple. Try to time your second Q of your W's pull, because this then guarantees your 3rd Q to land. And when your opponent gets dragged back by your chain, they are fuming. So when you knock them up not once but twice right after that, they are smashing something, I know that much. You have to place importance on your ultimate as well, guys. Use this to kill or to survive. Perhaps the key detail for your World Ender, it's a pretty sick name, is that when you transform you fear minions. So if you're fighting in a big creep wave, you can press R to de-aggro the enemy minions and take less damage. Really helpful to know. Alright, at number 4 guys, we have Malphite, and Rock Solid is definitely that this patch, and despite nerfs to Sunfire Aegis and a couple to Malph himself, still one of the best tops. With the popularity of bruises at the moment, like Nasus, Big Bad Malph is a great counter because of your armor, and you win every trade. Now to those of you who play top lane, if you're not already picking an AP champion like Teemo or Mordekaiser or Kale into Malph, please start doing so. Riot reduced Malph's base magic resist to just 28 a patch ago, so you guys have a free lane against him now. The 11-1 nerfs don't really mean anything either, so if Malphite is open and the enemy team has attack damage, that W, just take it, just pick him. Alright, we're into the top 3 top laners for 11-1 guys, and before we send it, please check out our website GameLeap.com. If you want to give yourself the best chance of getting to Challenger, then our site is all you need. If you want to keep toiling away, winning 5 games in a row, then losing 5 in a row, no worries, I'm not going to stop you. But if you want to buck that trend and start seeing victory on the reg, do yourself a favor and get signed up, links down below. Now I'm going to smash through these top 3 picks guys, because I actually mentioned all of them in our top champions video a couple of days ago. Make sure you watch it, otherwise I'll give you a pro guides out again. So at number 3 we have Camille. Now Trinity Force took a little hit this patch, which is why you're not higher, but regardless, an amazing solo queue champion. Make sure you play around your graph stacks in lane and follow your Trinity Force with Ravenous Hydra and Darius Gage. You become an absolute monster in that mid to late game. Coming in at number 2, the runner up is Darius, and I don't even need to say more because most of you hear that name and curl up into a ball. Guys, Darius is unreal this patch. More bruises means more kills on the table, and the Stride Breaker change gave you more ability haste, which is actually a really nice stat. So you can create more kill opportunities to put your opponents in the dirt. Alright guys, the champion boasts in the top spot, and I'm not going to do a who am I because again, I mentioned him in our recent top champs video. The number 1 is Wukong. Build a Trinity Force if you're snowballing, build a Gore Drinker if you need sustain in extended fights, build Divine Sunderer if you're against a tank. Your mythic choice is diverse and great, and is there anything more scary this patch than seeing a Wukong standing still? Thanks so much for watching guys, let me know in the comments your thoughts on the list and champion choices. Please like the video and subscribe and turn on all notifications. This has been Coach Cheese, and until tomorrow's episode, peace.